We've all seen depictions of insanity and mental illness on film. Often what's emphasized is the almost supernatural quality of mental illness itself, making it often fodder for thrillers and horror films. But what about a film made by these people? What type of film would mental hospital patients make? Enter Monkey's Teeth, a short film written, animated, and edited by mental hospital patients with the help of therapists at the Borde clinic. The film offers an offbeat but authentic view of mental illness through the perspective of those affected by it. Sometimes it seems to fit the bleakness and the disturbing qualities which we often think of as something which would come from a disturbed mind, such as this shot which could fit in a Salad Fingers episode. Most of the time, it has a surprisingly playful tone and doesn't seem to take itself too seriously. It was made by Rene Laloux, director of the famously psychedelic cartoon Fantastic Planet. Even though this short film served as his debut, his unique vision can already be seen. His style is always dreamlike and surreal, and this film is no exception. Laloux made an unusual entrance into filmmaking by way of work at a psychiatric institution. He had been to art school previously and used these skills to help the painters express themselves through their art. Probably due to his work at the clinic before his filmmaking career, the actor embraced what he called a schizophrenic style of film. That which suggests is superior to that which shows. Movies today show more and more. It's paranoid dictator cinema. What we need is schizophrenic cinema. The clinic itself was no ordinary mental hospital. Borde Psychiatric Clinic was at the forefront of some important innovations in psychotherapy, founded by Dr. Jean Horry, who was influenced by the ideas of both Karl Marx and Jacques Lacan. No locked doors, a regular schedule of group activities for patients, and a setting of expansive green that circled the main residence, a handsome assemblage of chateau-like quarters. Patients at Borde were unconfined, free to roam the grounds as they would. As part of an overarching communal spirit, take part in the decision-making process with regard to the logistics of life at the clinic. One of the other therapists who ended up helping create Monkey's Teeth was Felix Guattari, who later became known for his philosophical work in collaboration with Deleuze, in texts such as Anti-Oedipus, Capitalism, and Schizophrenia, which contained anti-hierarchical concepts inspired by Guattari's experiences at the clinic. So Monkey's Teeth was only one of many fascinating projects which emerged as a result of this fascinating mental hospital, which is still open today. As explained in a documentary prologue, the film's story was developed through discussions between many of the patients, where they came up with characters and a plot. The vague premise they decided upon was this.
Il y avait un pauvre qui souffrait des dents. Il alla un jour chez un dentiste. Il ignorait que cet homme volait les dents des pauvres pour les vendre aux riches. Heureusement, un singe magicien survint.
The film opens with an establishing shot of an unusually colorful city with less than practical roads. Near one of these buildings, we are introduced to the monkey magician, before we meet our protagonist who has tooth problems, green skin, and lives in a black cone. He goes to the dentist who steals his teeth, and we're treated to the first instance of pure dream logic, where the teeth being stolen are visually paired with people being plucked from a wedding dinner. We then get an even weirder scene, where a tooth hole turns into a battlefield. The dentist now has taken all the green dude's teeth, which may or may not have been standard procedure in 1960s France. The dentist does what any good man would do, and dumps his patient in the middle of nowhere. The benevolent monkey magician witnesses this on his bike. What follows is a sauntering chase scene. The dentist loses him, but the police start chasing the protagonist for some reason. The dentist then somehow hides from the mob by going into a butcher shop and turning into a slab of meat. The protagonist pulls a similar Scooby-Doo hiding move by hiding at a school in a model of the human body. And the police disguise themselves as children at the school, but then just kind of watch the green dude as he leaves. He then goes home, looks in the mirror, and cries. Next thing we know, the monkey magician finds the dentist where he works and is ready to deal out justice. And by justice, I mean he steals the dentist's teeth and gives them to the main character. The ending is seemingly happy, but is entirely unnerving, with both the green dude's smile and the monkey magician just kind of staring into the camera at the end. Overall, Monkey's Teeth is a strange little film with a unique and creepy look to it. It never quite seems like it's supposed to terrify its audience. In fact, it actually plays more like a slow-paced, surrealist slapstick cartoon. Everything that happens seems to play on familiar tropes, such as the stereotypically scary dentist, the chase scene, and the overall plot of revenge. Yet everything is slightly off. Nothing is quite logical, and the film only starts to make sense once you embrace its dreamlike, surreal style. The film has a loose plot, but the only consistent element seems to be that every scenario in the film ends up with the protagonist in a state of loneliness and isolation. Maybe the real horror we should recognize in conditions like schizophrenia is less the ways that it causes hallucinations, and more the isolating effects such hallucinations have on patients. Monkey's Teeth takes us into the mind of a character who is thwarted every time he attempts to connect with reality and escape his pain, until a bizarre outside force is able to stop this interference. But the film leaves us with plenty of questions. Is the monkey supposed to be a hallucination? And if so, does this mean the character is further isolated from reality at the end? The film deliberately leaves these possibilities open. Although Monkey's Teeth is probably not even one of Laloux's best shorts, it remains one of a kind, and offers a unique insight to mental illness. I'd recommend it to anyone who wants to get an accurate picture of what conditions like schizophrenia look like to those who have them, and to people who are interested in surreal and avant-garde animation in general. I think the world needs more films like this. Films which give voice to marginalized groups, which typically have no way to express themselves through this medium, and yet are not made with the enforcement of a strictly coherent message. The goal is for the patients to express themselves, rather than to give us a clear message.